Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to share a little piece of gear that I got recently called the Dt25 from Line 6. It was made several years ago. I think they were pretty popular for a little bit and then kind of died off, as you know, a lot of stuff does in the gear world. Got to keep us interested, dangling new carrots, and I've always wanted this amp. I found it on a really good deal, used from Guitar Center, and it is just a really cool amp. It's got like a whole bunch of different settings in it. You can really customize this thing to sound very different throughout the whole range of sounds that it's got. I think a lot of people probably have had trouble with the electronics in it. It looks like it's a really hard amp to service. The way that they've got the PCB boards and stuff in there that does all of the switching with the little micro switches and stuff inside of there to be able to do all of the functions that it has. You really have to tear this amp all apart in order to service it. So fingers crossed I never have to service it because I actually really like how it sounds. So just wanted to record a little bit of audio, showcase like what this thing sounds like. I just did a little bit of drums, a little bit of bass, and a little bit of guitar on this thing, just to kind of showcase some of the distortion that it has in a particular profile that I kind of like. I mean, there's no pedals, there's just nothing. It's just straight in from my Paul Reed Smith right into the front of this thing, and it has some pretty cool sounds. It's really a loud amp. 25 watts goes a long way on this thing. It is crazy loud. You can dial it back though. You can roll off that volume, and you know, like a lot of tube amps, that starts to choke the life out of an amp as you roll it back. So, you know, this is again one of those things that where you dial it up, there's kind of a sweet spot for it. So this is my Logic Pro setup that I've got. I have all of these different instruments grouped together, and just in a big drum group right here. This is kind of my tracking platform. I am using some drum editing that I've done on here with what do they call it? Drum quantizing is basically what I've done. So I'm not really going to get into showing how that works today, but it's actually really easy in Logic. You do have to kind of dink around with it a little bit. I should say it's really easy if you suck at playing drums like I do. So anyway, that being said, I'm not the greatest drummer, so this track in here is so basic. It's just really basic, and I just used the quantizing tool in here. I grouped all of these together. I'm editing everything. I have a drum group active, so whatever I do to one, it does to all of them. I'm quantizing each thing the same. I have it set to 16th notes. The flex is flex time. That's what it's called in Logic. The flex time is following beats inside of here, but essentially that's it. And you can go in and you can edit each hit and where it's mapping, and you can slide it left or right if it's just slightly off, which it is sometimes. So the more complicated your drum parts are, the more of a nightmare that's going to be. So play good. That's my advice. Play it right the first time. Don't suck like me. So anyways, like I said, I use the silencer tool. This just allows you to get the transient, and it's just it's like a gate, but it's like a magical gate. I really love it. I've used other gates out there. They you know, people are able to do all kinds of stuff with different gates. I'm not saying this is the only gate on the market, but I definitely like this one. It was stupid easy to figure out, and I like that. So I want to say it was like $50 or something. So for $50, maybe it was 100. I don't know, but it was worth it. I bought this one, and then I bought the escalator plug-in that I was talking about. that I have on my guitar and bass bus. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good little clipper, and I want to say I got all of that stuff for under 200 bucks. They might have had a sale going on, but I use silencer on all of my kick, snare, and all of my toms, and then I have each one of them set so that it kind of optimizes for that particular input. And like I said before, I'm just using the vintage console EQ, so it's kind of like a Neve style preamp. So here's my kick in mic, here's my kick out mic, and this is the way that I have them dialed in. I think that they may be like identical almost. Nope, not identical. So I've rolled off the high end for the kick out, and anyway, you can see there's a little bit of difference in what I'm doing, but not a lot. And then I'm just mapping between the two inputs to try and get them, set up so that they work appropriately with each other. So one of them's not louder than the other, and I'm kind of mixing to taste there. I don't need full sub frequency, but I like using that a little bit. Same thing on all of these other ones right here. So that's basically all I'm using on these is just silencer. And then I have one big room mic in my big room, and I'm just using this this phase plug-in right here. This gain plug-in is only just using it was inserted there just to adjust for phase. It actually doesn't even look like I'm using it right now. Then, like I said, just pretty basic setup for this console EQ. It's barely doing anything at all, if anything. And then here's basically my setup for the compression that I'm using in the room. It's pretty basic as well. And then, I'm dialing down volume on it, and my overheads are dialing down a little bit of volume on those, and I'm kind of leaning a little bit more on my mid-side ribbons, which I think sound great. Having all three of these to be able to dial in for taste, this was kind of a game changer for me when I started getting ribbon mics and recording with ribbon mics in my room. And then adding a second room that's 20 feet away from my drum kit in a separate room that's kind of getting the splash off of the wall, and mixing that with my overheads. Great. That's a super cool sound just from that. Those three channels right there is a great drum sound. And then essentially what I'm doing with the rest of it is I have one drum group, so all of those channels, after they run through treatment, they come into here into my drum bus. So those two kick mics, they sum into a single kick channel. I'm not doing any phase or any left and right panning, so I actually usually have this in mono. I'm not sure why I didn't notice that it wasn't there. And then snare is in mono typically. But yeah, so I just come in here and I just do a little bit of treatment on each one of these, and it's just that console EQ. I just dial them in just a little bit of compression. Maybe in this case it's a lot of compression, but I'm using it in parallel. I'm using parallel compression, so it's not the full compressed signal, which I really like. On my snare, similar thing. I'm driving a little bit of the EQ on that to just shape it a little bit, and some pretty decent compression on this channel as well. With a limiter, I like to drive my snare into a limiter so that way it stays a little bit more consistent, more even. Like I said, I'm not a great drummer, so my stuff is a little inconsistent. And then I've got like a drum bus channel for console EQ. I have basically a classic drums preset that is almost stock. I'm pretty sure that's almost exactly how it comes when you pull up the stock preset. Like I was telling you, I use this large wooden room in Chromaverb, and you know, all this stuff is like free in Logic. That's one of the things that I really love about Logic. And then I'm smashing the whole drum bus a little bit with a limiter. That runs over to my pre-master channel, so all of these channels all feed into my pre-master, and I just use them to glue things together. I have a second screen over here that you guys can't see in this view, which is kind of showcasing all of these. I like to be able to see all of my mastering chain at the same time, so that I can watch what's going on with each individual plugin. And I hate all the clutter all over here, so I just bought like a little LED screen that was, you know, 27-inch to match my iMac, and it is just holding plugins. It just shows plugins. So at any rate, a little bit of compression, some more console EQ, a tube EQ right here, and this is just a direct preset from Logic. The Master Shine just gives it a little bit of airiness, driving into a limiter right there. And then I have my multimeter tool, which shows me essentially what my frequencies are. It shows me how my phase correlation is working out, and it shows how hard I'm driving my LUFs, and you know, where my RMS is at. So that's essentially what I'm doing. So this whole track that you've heard, this is essentially it, and it's very easy. I think it took me like 20 minutes to record all of this stuff, just these ideas, and probably the only thing I didn't go over is my bass track. So it's a synth bass, but I have it kind of dialed to taste. Here on the bass channel, like I said, my compression, it's pretty heavy. Doing some pretty heavy compression on here, and then my escalator plug-in, I'm just driving it a little bit. So that's basically it. Not the greatest musician in the world, but hey, you know what? I love it. I have fun doing it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you have fun doing what you do, and you know, let's discuss in the comments what you guys would like to see in future videos, other gear that I have. I'll probably do a more expansive, you know, gear overview, just kind of go through each piece of gear that I have. So if there's anything, you know, there that you guys are interested in hearing sounds of or tweaking or anything like that, just let me know in the comments. All right, appreciate it.